Today we are going to be talking about Return of the Jedi, which, man, as a kid, I watched this movie back to back over and over and over again. So we're starting a couple minutes late, so we'll just jump right into it here in the. Hello, my beautiful guests. I am excited. We have two brand new people here, and we have Luke, a returning handsome favorite, um, Agent Callus, future cosplayer.
Stop!
Returning for us
Stop putting that! Stop putting that in the universe. You gotta stop it.
um, but yeah, we're gonna jump in here. We're gonna talk Return of the Jedi. But I want to start by going around, having everyone introduce yourself, who you are, where we can find your awesome content, and I had the question. I have asked this before, but it was a lot of fun to discuss it, so I want to do it again. All right, you have to beat a Sith Lord for the fate of the galaxy, right? But you get to choose what Sith Lord you are going to face, and you get to choose what you're going to face them in. So yeah, we'll start with Luke.
Hi, everybody. My name is Luke. I am a third of the Pod Ones podcast, hosted with Char Char J and Harris Productions. You can find us at TikTok at the Pod Ones podcast, Instagram at the Pod Ones Pod, and at Pod Ones podcast on Twitter. If I had to face a Sith Lord, to be honest, it would probably, man, that's a tough one. I'd have to face Plagueis, I would think. The problem is that I wouldn't be able to like do anything like mind wise because that guy's fucking smart.
Yep.
So let's just say in agility we have to do like a 50-yard dash. I feel pretty confident in that.
All right, I would love to see that happen. If he uses force speed, you might have some trouble, but
we're
also,
on a planet that you can't use force speed, so
all
there
right.
you go. I make the rules.
That's fair. And yeah, everyone in the chat, go ahead and give us your answers. Mine, real quick, is I would face Darth Vader, and there's an old Star Wars game on regular PlayStation called Masters of Terrakasi. It's a weird fighting game that everyone hated. I loved that game, and I would have us duel as Vader in the game, and then I would whoop him there because I just think that'd be really ironic and funny. But how about you, Mackenzie?
Okay, so I'm Mackenzie, and you can find me on TikTok at Mac2Reality or on Twitter at Ardoc Ranch. And if I had to face a Sith Lord, my original response is that I would down Maul if the competition was just who can tell the most happy stories about our childhood. But then
That's dark in the happiest way possible.
That's terrible. That's absolutely
But then
terrible.
I rewatched this movie that we're going to talk about, Return of the Jedi, and I also think I could take down Palpatine if the competition was if we just watched like a wrestling match. Which one of us doesn't laugh maniacally and just rub his hands together and say, good, good? I would definitely win against that, too.
Okay, I would like to redact my choice and choose one of hers. Because hers is 10 times better than mine.
Oh my goodness.
In the chat, I have Christian White, Darth Revan in a contest of memory. just getting wiped on a daily. That's awesome. How about you, TC?
What's going on, guys? My name is TC Cosplays. You can find me on TikTok and Twitter. Same username. And the Sith I would face, yeah, it's definitely a hard one, but I would say Dooku.
Okay.
And I would probably fight him on Endor, because I feel like I would have an advantage on him. Because even though Dooku's a very like skilled duelist, I mean he's probably like one of the best. I mean he's old and I'm younger, so yeah, and I'm pretty fast. Not gonna lie, so
There you
I
go.
definitely
All
think
right.
I would be-
It's a bold one, but I like it. Yeah. If I was facing Dooku, I would face him in like a spicy food challenge. I don't know why. I just feel like
He looks like he can't deal with spicy food. He's like so pretentious that he's just like he's that one guy that comes into the restaurant and if it has spicy food, he just throws a fit.
yeah, exactly. Like you
I am
don't
a
face Maul in a spicy food contest.
No,
It feels
no.
like he
like-
eats fire.
yeah.
I feel like Dooku eats pizza with a fork and knife. I don't know
Yes.
why.
Oh,
gives me
he is a
those
fork.
vibes.
Oh, absolutely. I am the Princess Sereno. I eat. He's like, and he eats Chinese food without chopsticks. He's a fork guy.
Oh, I believe that.
Absolutely.
I feel like he would refer to like pizza as peasant food, but he'd still want some. You know, like that's kind of. Let's see. St. Pat in the chat says Star City is in a skydiving competition. I would actually be able to land. Yeah, he might explode into like a bunch of flame. that's true.
Or rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah,
He has no hands.
That's fair.
just a contest of legs against Maul. You have legs.
Or you could do Vader, be like being able to have have ligaments. Like, I've got all my arms and my legs. What do you got? Oh wait, you're a robot. Sucks to be you.
Okay. After he's done with the pizza on a fork, he wipes it away like Makashi. He does a little flourish and hey, we have Conspiracy Cantina. Thank you so much to Paul dropping $10. Thank you so much for the ramen drop. Always appreciate it.
What are you calling it for London though?
Whew, Scotch egg
crumpet?
drops? I don't know.
Crumpets?
Beer. just beer, I think. I think that
beer.
works as well.
Beer money for our pub crawl.
Absolutely.
Oh God.
Yeah, hopefully y'all are trying to go to London. That's the goal here. I'm currently not working, so I'm trying to resolve that first.
There you go. Yeah, you got a while. The pub fund. Yes. The pub fund.
St. Pat says Darth Vader and blowing up balloons. He's just like trying to stretch it over the top of his mask. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Awesome. All right, I appreciate that and where we can find y'all. But now we have to be able to judge your taste. So in order to do that, I always ask your top 3 Star Wars films. But I just want to know what's been your favorite experience being in the Star Wars fandom. I always like to start with some positivity as well. And Mac first.
Sure. So, my favorite experience being in the Star Wars fandom would probably be I went to Celebration in Anaheim this year, and that was just such a great experience. Both actually being at Celebration and getting to like actually talk to all these people that I've been talking to online for all these months beforehand and stuff. Was great. And then it was also really fun to hang out with everybody at Disneyland. And so, yeah, I'd say that was probably my favorite experience.
Nice. It's a awesome one. Sadly, I didn't make it to Disneyland during Celebration, but I live in Southern California, so I can go anytime. But that being said, what was your top 3 Star Wars films?
Yeah. So my top Star Wars film is Empire Strikes Back. I feel like that's what everybody says, but it's a good movie. And then my second favorite is probably Rogue One. And then my third favorite is Attack of the Clones.
All right, nice.
Nice.
We got it's almost the same as Obi Sean here.
Oh,
Just gotta toss in Revenge of the Sith. So Empire, Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith, and how about UTC? Top three films and favorite memory as being in the community.
All right. I'm gonna start with my list first. So my all-time favorite Star Wars film has to be Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I love Return of the Jedi so much. Like that movie holds a special place in my heart. My second favorite is Empire Strikes Back because it's Empire Strikes Back, and my third favorite is Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is just a great movie.
That's a goated film. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, and favorite memory in the fandom?
So my favorite memory. So I don't know if you guys remember this. You probably guys do. Back in 2010, it was either 2010 or 2012. They re-released The Phantom Menace in 3D, and that was like a very big thing because no Star Wars movie was ever in 3D. So I went to my local movie theater opening night, and I just remember how packed it was. Like there was so many people, and like there were like people dressed up as Darth Maul. People had their lightsabers, and this was like my first time being exposed to like any sort of like fandom. And because like I always thought like if you were a Star Wars if you like Star Wars, you're weird, like nobody likes Star Wars. But to actually see that people like Star Wars and people are actually coming together to like I was like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. And
yeah,
I mean, I got to see Duel of the Fates, the whole fight on the big screen and in 3D. So definitely a memory I will never forget.
That's gonna age me so much, Brandon. Though, because I remember watching it originally in '99 in a theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was my first ever movie in general. My mom, my sister, who absolutely hates Star Wars now to this day because of this experience, and me went to Phantom Menace, and that was my first ever like big screen movie. So yeah, I was around in '99, kind of an old balls, but it is what it is.
Hey man, I'm the oldest one here, so it's
Not
all
by
good.
much. Not by much. And I got more gray hair than anybody here, so
That's also true. No, I saw the special editions in theaters, so that's my that's mine.
Yes.
But yeah, Luke, your top three and your favorite experience?
Shit, that's tough. Celebration this year. But to be honest, seeing Kenobi, the first episode, and but not being able to do it for the second one because obviously we had the trivia tournament, which actually is my favorite moment. Believe it or not, we should call Luke gray hair. Very funny, very funny.
I didn't say it.
Very funny. But like getting to meet everybody at Celebration and getting to do the trivia tournament, and like Mac said, it's like meeting people that you have kind of come to know as family. It is just so nice. But yeah, that was probably my favorite experience. And top three movies, in no particular order because Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, and Return of the Jedi.
Beautiful, love it. And real quick, we have Kelsey who says, "Attack of the Clones." I always say the best Star Wars fans are the ones that Attack of the Clones is their favorite.
I would agree
because y'all had it rough for a long time, and you've made it through the fire and the flames, and so and you're just forged as like a good
And
person.
it's making a return though. You gotta
As
say it's
well it
making a
should.
return. That
Yes,
mullet Obi-Wan is like classic Obi-Wan. So
that's very true. I also think, yeah,
Face
it's
Jesus.
absolutely. Let's see. Christian White says Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace. Nice to see some Phantom Menace respect up here. Beautiful. We got St. Pat, Return of the Jedi, Rots and Tross. I think he just likes ROT as letters, and then is just going to choose anyone that contains them. um, Christian also remembers that 3D re-release, and they didn't finish it though. Right? They didn't finish. Did they
No,
not
they
make
didn't.
it?
They just did Phantom Menace. They didn't have before, and it was right before Disney had bought in Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it would have had to have been 2012.
Yeah.
But
And let's see what else we got. Dan the Man talking about Return of the Jedi. Acrylic Coffee Works was there at Celebration as well. Kenobi was emotional.
she sat next to me during that premiere.
Okay,
And
so she's talking about you.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Like babbling mess the entire time. And when I came back, because we recorded the trivia at Choco and Pep's um Airbnb, I walked in and I said, "Y'all, I ain't ready for this show," and they weren't ready for the show. I was indeed correct when I said that.
This is very true. Yeah, Chase's big complaint is while watching it got really blurry, and his eyes got wet for some reason,
Yeah.
which was understandable. Let's see. Aaron says, "The Siege of Mandalore count? If so, that's my favorite. That's valid.
Yeah.
If you want to hear an awesome conversation about that, check out the Podwans podcast. They just finished going through all of the arcs on the Clone Wars, and yours truly is on that Siege of Mandalore arc. So a lot of fun." Speaking of Chase, he says Return of the Jedi is trash because Lumpy isn't in it. Yes, Lumpawaru is canon. Thankfully, the grandpa has not been referred to yet. I think he's yeah. Anyways,
Another story for another time.
we have Lucas crying for 5 straight minutes
Oh,
at the end of episode 2.
I can attest to that. Yes, absolutely. And it was probably the most emotional 5 minutes in my entire life. I probably the only other time that I will cry harder is when I get married and when I have a child. But that third place is for Kenobi episode 2. That's just where that is.
Awesome. I love it. Oh yeah, we also have some love for the Wedge Luke hug.
Yes.
Now, my favorite moment in the fandom, I'm gonna guess it. Actually, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be next week.
Yes.
At the Andor premiere, but we'll see.
That's awesome.
Other than that, there's been a lot of awesome moments, but I'm honestly gonna say, starting this podcast, starting the High Ground podcast, I've been able to talk to so many people. Like, I felt super alone in the Star Wars fandom because all the conversations I heard were really, really crappy, and I didn't like that. And then I found so many people that enjoy it, and like, even if we have different tastes or different likes, like, we can have human conversations. And I've been able to hang out with and meet you guys through it, and so many other mutuals, and it's taught me content creation, which is something I now absolutely love, and gained a bunch of new skills. And it's a part of what has helped build this community. And so I'm gonna have to say that, but a close second is karaoke at Celebration with DePaul jumping on the couches. That was awesome. And we're all there, and Nidra is in Ahsoka cosplay in the bar karaokeing. It was just really, really cool. But all right. Well, now that we've gotten to know each other, um, I'm going to ask a lightning question, right? And I included this, so y'all better have been prepared. Kill, bang, marry. Jabba the Hutt, Bib Fortuna, Salacious B. Crumb. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first because I'm going to
you
give
guys
the
can-
I'm going to give the office answer. I'm going to save all 3 bullets for Jabba the Hutt. No, actually, no. I'm shooting Salacious in the face. He's dead. He's gone. Sorry. My girlfriend's going to actually absolutely hate me because she adores Salacious B. Crumb. I just don't understand it. Kill him and then shoot Jabba twice. I'm not banging anybody. I'm breaking the rules. I'm not marrying anybody. Everybody's dying here. Nope, not happening.
Come on. You gotta give me the answer.
that is the answer.
All right. How about UTC?
Wow. I would kill Jabba because I mean it's Jabba. Probably marry Bib because he takes over Jabba's palace after he's dead, so he's gonna have all the money.
Okay. Conspiracy. I like it.
And I mean I'm probably gonna drink and never remember what happened, but
You know what the problem? You know what the thing is TC is gonna be like, okay, I've got the liquid courage, and then for the rest of his days, all he's gonna hear is, and just whenever he hears that, he'll be walking around a corner and he'll hear it and he'll be like, oh god, oh, bad memory.
I love it. How about you, Mac?
So I think I would marry Jabba for the same reason. He has money. Also, he has a lot of other women to entertain him. Like, I don't need to be around. You know? I would kill Bib Fortuna because I can't stand his face. Stupid little red eyes. So scary.
That's
Yeah, I'm killing him. And then I guess that leaves me banging Salacious B. Crumb, which he's a funny little guy. We could have a fun time, I guess.
Who doesn't love a guy that makes you laugh? And you know, St. Pat says kill Bib, Salacious Jabba, and then bang Sice Noodles.
oh my god, is that the alien who sings the
yeah, to Zero.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Zero the Hutt's girlfriend who ends up gacking him at the end of that arc.
All right, so I started it, so it's only fair I answer it. And all the answers are terrifying.
Yeah. Think about the experiences, man. Not fun. That's why I chose to kill at least 2 of them.
Okay, but I'm gonna marry Salacious B. Crumb. And you can chill with me, just like being, we can go places together. I could see that. I mean, I'd have to be the provider. I'm gonna bang Jabba.
Say, what is he gonna do for a job? Be a stand-up comedian?
Absolutely. I'm gonna bang Jabba because I don't even know what that's like. I mean, I don't even know how that would work, and I'm curious the mechanics of it.
Gotta figure out the science.
gotta think about Mama the Hutt.
For science, and then
oh my.
And then I would kill Bib Fortuna because I also hate his face. I've always hated his face. And I remember being little and all of the Star Wars action figures would sell out except for Bib Fortuna. So every store you go into was just racks of Bib Fortunas just staring at you. I hate him. I hate him so much.
Fun fact, Chaco. So, the actor who plays Bib Fortuna was the old king in House of the Dragon in the first episode, the first sequence. He's sitting in the throne for House of Dragon. Yeah, he plays Jaehaerys.
Interesting. I did not know that. That's
I tied
cool
it all.
fact.
I tied it all together. Sorry, I just because we were talking about Bib Fortuna.
Also, side note, it wasn't Luke didn't mention it, but he has awesome coverage of House of Dragon, and of Rings of Power whenever those drop. And so definitely check that out as well.
Appreciate it, my
Um,
kind sir.
Obi-Wan says, kill Jabba, ban Salacious, enter a polyamorous relationship with Boba Fett and the backup singers.
I don't hate that. I think I just, but here's the problem. Boba's like, he's the type of guy that he's like, I don't share. So gank.
That is very
he's probably
true.
gonna he's probably gonna gank you, and you're gonna end up in like in a not so great place, you know. Just gotta say that.
Seriously, this is the sad part. I've probably working close to people that look like close to all of them. That's listen, you're a stronger man than I.
Yeah.
And not just because
Wow.
of Jabba's the one. Wait, that's not what I read.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
I read this differently. Anyways. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Luke.
It's fair because Chase is always the one that like derails a podcast, either when he is on or when he is in the chat. So I'm glad it's not just us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's he's a menace everywhere.
Menace to society. Forward into the black. You have been put on notice. You are a menace to society.
All right, but let's jump into it. You know, I want to kind of split it up so we can talk about the three acts of the films, and so we can just kind of go around, you know, jump out. So I'll ask everyone, what's your first memory of seeing this movie in general, and then what kind of jumps out at you in the first act? What are your big parts or favorite parts or takeaways?
My
And-
earliest memory. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Go. That's exactly what I wanted. Go for it.
Oh, okay. So my first memory of Return of the Jedi, it took me a long time to watch Return of the Jedi, and I watched 1 through 5, but the only movie I was missing was Return of the Jedi, because I had episode 4 and 5 on VHS, because I used to have like an old like TV box when I was a kid, and my mom had episode 3, and I think we also had episode 2 on VHS, and I saw episode 1 in theaters. And then one Valentine's Day, my mom got me the complete saga 1 through 6. Well, it was 1 through 6 at the time.
Yeah.
And first movie I watched was Return of the Jedi, and I just remember just like being just so. I've never been so glued to like my TV screen ever in my life. Like from seeing Luke fighting Jabba's guards, and the space battle even at the end. I mean, it was like one of those like magic moments, and then to finally tie it all together in the ending. I mean, the ending is so beautiful. So yeah,
Awesome. I love it. And what jumps out at you in the first act of the film, like all the way, the whole rescuing from Jabba's palace?
Seeing Hut Slayer Leia for the first time as a 13-year-old was a very eye-opening experience for me.
Real awakening. Real awakening.
So that was.
My
You
man.
weren't the
nice
only
to
one,
see.
my son. You were not the only one. Hey.
I was like, wow, this is so great.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I rewatched Jabba's palace quite a few times as a young man.
Yes.
You know, Ula, the toilet dancer, also she got it going on too. Just saying. How about you guys?
So for me, my dad had us watching the Star Wars movies when we were so young. I do not remember the first time I watched any of them. um, but what stuck out to me, especially as a kid, for some reason, is the scene in the Rancor pit. You know, like how as a kid you think in your head about how you would escape quicksand and stuff like that all the
Yeah.
time, even though that is an unrealistic
Absolutely.
situation you will never encounter. That was me, but with like how I would escape a Rancor pit. I don't know why I spent so much time as a child thinking about that. Like, if I got stuck down there, what would I do? But yeah, so that was probably like one of the things that really stuck out to me for some reason.
I actually did have that thought too, but I just assumed I would die. I was like,
Well, I think a lot of my scenarios that I ran in my head, I did die. So
okay.
I got eaten, unfortunately.
That's fair.
Like I'd throw the skull and it would miss, and I'd just be like, well.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
it's been nice. It's been nice. Gonna get eaten by a rancor. It's kind of cool, you know.
How about you, Luke?
So, I also like I remember watching Return of the Jedi for the first time, and I think it was before we actually watched, Phantom Menace. But I remember just being enamored. In my opinion, I think this is one of Vader's best movies because he has that presence, right? The first shot of him is walking into the Death Star and basically calling the shots, being like, "Yo, you're behind schedule. Let's hurry this up." Like, and then he throws the Emperor line, and that guy literally, like the equivalent to, like, yeah, the boss is coming. He literally shits his pants there. Just is like, oh shit, and I just love how Vader is just like, the Emperor is not as forgiving as I am, and then walks out. The one gripe that I will have with this movie, if you watch the deleted scenes, there's an extended scene. It doesn't cut to C-3PO in R2. It has him keep going down this long hallway into the elevator up and into his chamber thing. And it's him calling out to Luke. And then it cuts and it goes to Luke creating his lightsaber, which I felt if they would have kept in, yes, it kind of takes away from the reveal of him having the lightsaber when it gets shot up. But I think lore-wise, that is so interesting because it's like the first time you were able, no, it's the second time you're able to like have the presence really be there because it's there at the end of Empire, but it's so powerful. It's so powerful. That's the one gripe I have with this movie is not keeping that part in. And also, there's a couple of extra scenes because it's Vader that they don't have, where I think they should have kept it in, but I understand why. But like to see Luke Skywalker walk in and just wreck shop, like we see him in Empire Strikes Back. He's still kind of learning, and at this point, I mean, even in the comics, we're seeing that space in between Empire and Return of the Jedi, and he's not a full-fledged Jedi Knight yet. But he's damn near close. So seeing that, and then seeing the relationship between Leia and Han, and knowing the backstory of, I thought I was gonna be gone, like Harrison Ford didn't want to come back, and then they had to coax him into doing it, and I find that really interesting. But the first half of the movie goes by pretty quick, and I feel like that's like a normal thing for Star Wars movies. A lot of the beginning is very quick, in my opinion. It's very fast paced. But yeah.
What do you guys think about Luke's plan to rescue Han?
Bold.
I still don't know what he was thinking. Hey man.
It is a little complicated. It's like a lot of just sending people in and then they don't come out, so send some more people in. And
he's like, all right, R2 and C-3PO are the last people I'm sending in. If it doesn't work, I'll have to go in myself. All right.
I wonder like the part when he's he's talking to Jabba. I don't know why. I always had a feeling that he was about to like reach for his lightsaber, but then he realized, oh crap, I left it in R2. So that's another reason why he had to. That's why he went for the blaster instead.
No, yeah, that makes so much sense. But I love what Chris just said. Typical Skywalker, like father, like son. Instantly, you're like, when you've watched, and that's what I love when I watch the entire saga all together. It's just little bits and pieces of things. Like, oh man, that is such an Anakin move. Like him doing the and then jumping and spinning. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, come on now. Come on now. Let's not be real here. Stop showing off. Take care of business. We know where you got that from.
But as a kid watching for the first time, like I had already seen Empire when Luke does the flip over the log, and I like dedicated my life to doing front flips at that moment.
Yep.
Um so him going down the board, I don't know why there was a diving board there. That seems weird, but diving board
Yeah.
doing a front flip up, and I was just like that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. But for me, he was just like he was so badass coming back in and had that calm demeanor. Um, yeah, I loved it. But at that point, you didn't know if he was going to fall to the dark side or something like that, and so that's why I was really obsessed with like the beginning of this. Also, Leia in the Bausch suit
Yes.
with the thermal detonator and stuff, like that was just a Butler play. But one thing, sorry, two things that I always like vividly think about is one, Lando's like helmet has a mask thing, and so you think he's trying to stay hidden, but he pulls the whole thing down to like here.
Yeah.
He was like, "Sup?"
What up? I saw Beckett do this once about 20 years ago. It looked pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and do it myself.
Yeah, so I'm always like, that. All right, that was weird. And then
Another. Oh, I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
Oh, just the other thing is the after the Rancor dies, the
Yes.
tears on
Yes.
on that guy, like, and they're like he was so sad.
Oh my god.
I
I'm
always
just
think
like,
about
oh, I can't wait for a certain point of view. Like that book is gonna be wild.
yeah.
This
What
is
were we
gonna
gonna
be
say,
emotional
TC?
baggage. Another one of my favorite moments is when Han and Luke, they're like going to the Sarlacc pit and they have a little conversation there, and the line that always gives me chills is when Han like tells him like, oh, we're gonna die, right? Like this is it, man. And Luke is just like, just stick to Chewie and Lando. I've taken care of everything. Like I got it, man. Like that.
Yes.
Like it's just like, man, he's so cool. Like
Yep. He's learned in those in that year and a half or 2 years. And I also think another funny part is when Han gets thrown into the cell and Chewie's explaining all these things, like all the events that have happened, and he's like, it's like he's just woken up from a fever dream. He's like, Luke can't even take care of himself, let alone anybody else. Like, what are you talking about? Like Han's just been out of it for 2.5 years, has not seen anybody, and has to take the word of his best friend, which he should always do because Wookiees are always right. And I always find that really funny as well because there is a lot of humor. I feel like Return of the Jedi has one of the most it has the most humor tied into it. There's a lot of moments where it's using humor, especially after such a dark, intense movie that you had in Empire. They kind of were like, hey, let's make a little bit of funny stuff here. Like we can't just have it all dark all the time. So, and I feel like it does really well with that aspect.
Yeah, they definitely did lighten it up a bit.
Yeah, I think Han is so funny during this first act, especially all the stuff like on the like on the barge when they're out there and he can't see and he's just kind of blindly hitting things. Like that is some
Boba
top tier physical comedy right there. It is
Uh-huh.
so funny.
Just straight up Mr. Magoo in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boba Fett. Boba
Right.
Fett. Where? Oh man.
Uh,
That's great.
yeah, I think that but like you said, TC, those lines. I was born around here. You're gonna die here. It's convenient. It does make me happy. And let's see here.
Yeah.
Kellis also says also the black outfit and Chanel boots.
Yep.
Yep. He
Top tier fit.
Man's got that drip just like his dad, man. I tell you, those Skywalkers know how to dress themselves. It's quite impressive.
Also St. Pat's like, don't worry, I can see better.
Yes.
I
Don't
I always
worry, I
quote
can see.
random moments too, just like in my daily life. Like my wife and I will be like hanging up a picture and I'll be like, a little higher. And she's like, why are you saying like that? I'm like, never mind.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right, so after that point, right, they rescue Han. Also, if anyone hasn't read The Princess and the Scoundrel, one of the things I really enjoyed about this new book is that it jumps into Han's perspective, and it's after Return of the Jedi. And the thing that pops up a lot is how he feels about losing that year of time in Carbonite and coming back, and everyone's different, and how kind of scared that makes him. And I've never seen that angle explored before. I thought that was really cool. Like he's like, I gotta marry her because I've already lost her before. I didn't know if I would ever wake up. So we doing this. Like it's, and you're like,
Yeah, it's great.
that's powerful. I never thought about it like that. That's really cool.
Mhm.
All right,
like
so
waking
they
up from a
rescue
coma.
Han. Huh?
It's like waking up from a coma.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, so they rescue Han. They blow up the sail barge. They fly out. Apparently, Max Rebo lands somewhere in the desert and like walks his little two legs back somehow and survives. But let's talk about the next section of Act 2, right? That's Luke going to visit Yoda for the last time, and everything up to him turning himself into Vader. And what jumps out at you guys about this point in time? And also we can get chat involved here. So chat, what jumps out at you guys at this point in time as well? But yeah, the floor is yours.
I gotta say, with yes, not to go back, but the best robot chicken, no, second best robot chicken skit is of him, going into like the wreckage and talking about it, and then he has to walk all the way across the Dune Sea to a different gig, and the Cantina band stole the gig from him. Oh, top tier comedy. Anyway.
I don't think I've seen that one. I need to go back and rewatch all of them.
What? Oh, you got to. It's classic. Oh, it's so funny. So funny. I think, well, obviously coming off of Obi-Wan Kenobi, this movie gets enhanced tenfold. There is a lot that gets hinted at and then gets resolved in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then you get to see the parallels in Return of the Jedi. And that's why I think it's kind of moved up in my rankings because of Obi-Wan. Don't say it. Actually, go ahead, say it.
Obi-Wan.
Yes. yes. And it's so interesting because like Luke asked the question to Yoda. Yoda just like is straight up like, yeah, we should have told you, but we didn't. We thought it was going to be better off if you didn't. Because I mean, if you think about it, Luke at that moment, if they would have told him in Empire Strikes Back that that Vader was his father, it would have been insanity. Like it changes the course of that entire movie, right? So they tell him, and then he talks.
Actually, I do have to correct because Yoda's first response was like, "Oh, I'm gonna die real quick."
Yeah. I'm gonna get out of this. I'm gonna try to avoid this conversation.
Luke, I just need to. I gotta go.
Can we have this? Can we have this this conversation after I've died, so that it's not as awkward and I can peace out?
I'm gonna be free, like when I die, when I stop breathing.
He couldn't have got here 5 minutes later.
But then he talks to Ben. And I think the most fascinating thing for me is that we think of Force Ghosts, right? And in the books, in a certain point of view, Qui-Gon talks to Obi-Wan in A New Hope, right? And he goes, everything that has happened has led you to this point. And it begs the question of that conversation between Ben and Luke. He's like, you must face Darth Vader again. And it's almost like during that conversation, Ben is pushing him to that final confrontation because he knows what's going to happen next. And I find that absolutely fascinating. Because Force Ghosts, we don't know much about them, but what we do know is just insanity. It's crazy. So I absolutely love that part. And then him saying there's still good in him. And then Ben being like, he was a good friend. And just like all this, and it's just so interesting. It's just so interesting.
Yeah, especially because after reading, the Master and Apprentice short story, Qui-Gon knows that Obi-Wan and it's right before A New Hope begins. But Qui-Gon appears to Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon knows that Obi-Wan is about to go on an adventure and die. He knows he's going to join him in the Force, but he can't tell him that. So that's really interesting because it seems like they know time isn't a real thing for them.
Yep.
But they can't straight up do things, otherwise people won't react the right way. I know, just really interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. How about you, TC or Mackenzie?
I was gonna say something about the Yoda confirming to Luke that Vader was his father scene that my dad always likes to talk about whenever we watch the movies together, is that when he was younger, him and his brother, after watching Empire Strikes Back in the movie theater, would always have like a debate about whether or not Vader was actually Luke's father, because he said his brother was convinced that Vader was just lying to him. And he said that was not an uncommon belief in the fandom in those days, that Vader had just been lying. So he said it was very helpful that they actually put this conversation in there with Yoda to confirm, yes, that is where this story is going. Vader was not just telling him lies. So I always find that interesting whenever I'm watching this part now. I think about that.
They traumatized the hell out of kids in 1980. Well, Jesus, no way, Mom. That's not true. That's impossible. Yeah. Gotta wait another 3 years for the answer.
And then my mom said hers was even worse because when she watched Empire Strikes Back and they put Han in carbonite, she thought Han Solo died. She thought they killed him off. And she said that she cried so hard her dad had to carry her out of the movie theater. And then she didn't see the end of the movie and then had to wait 3 years to find out that Han Solo was alive.
Wait, hold on. She didn't stay for the I am your what? Oh, that's jaw-dropping right there. Watch him Return of the Jedi, and she's just like, Luke's like, so he is my father.
She had no idea.
She looks over at what? What? That didn't just happen, did it? Okay, we're just gonna glance by that. All right, makes sense. God, that's funny. That is so funny.
I like Hoodberry said when Luke tells Ben he can't kill his father, and then Ben says, "Well, then the Emperor has already won." Like, damn, there isn't any middle ground.
That's force in his hand.
Yeah. the part that always catches me whenever Luke and Yoda have that conversation, and then it transitions to Luke and Ben having the conversation. Um, it's kind of weird because you know, Yoda tells Luke that because Luke thinks he's a Jedi already, but still Vader. You have to confront Vader. Like after you defeat Vader, then you'll be a Jedi. And then with Ben telling him like you have to face Vader again, and Luke is he solely believes that Vader can be turned and that he can return. But I felt like Obi-Wan and Yoda have been like as far as like the Jedi code, like I feel like they were so far away from like the Jedi code, because they both lied to Luke all his life, not telling him who his real father, not even telling like who his real mother was. And then now you're telling him like, look, the only way to end all this, you need to kill him. You need to take him out. And that's where Obi-Wan eventually failed, because Obi-Wan didn't want to do it, but in the end, he was so tied to the code and he had such a love for the code that he went on with it. And Vader and Anakin, and all it did was just make it even worse. Like you turned him into something way worse than what he already was. And the fact that Luke was like, no, like I'm not going to kill my own father. Like I'm going to save him. And it's kind of like sad when Ben says, well, then the Empire's already won. And it's like, but I have so much respect for Luke, because Luke was like, yeah, but I'm gonna still try in the end. And that scene alone makes me love Luke. Makes me appreciate him as a character, because
Yeah.
Sorry,
have any of you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I feel like this reminds me a lot of like that last arc with Aang, before the finale, where Aang really wants to not kill the Fire Lord, and everyone is basically telling him like, yeah,
Bro,
that's
you
what
gotta
you
kill
have
the
to
Fire
do.
Lord.
Obviously, Avatar does take a lot of stuff from Star Wars. Dave Filoni used to work on the show and all that. But yeah, it really reminds me of that, like him not wanting to kill someone, and that's what. Same thing with Luke. Luke does not want to kill Vader, and everyone keeps telling him like, well, that's what you have to do. That's the only option.
Come on, bro, kill your dad. It's either you kill your dad, or the entire Empire takes over the entire galaxy again. You choose, bro.
and Leia's your sister, by the way.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Like Ben's again. Like both these Jedi are just like, all right, we're gonna tell you important information now. Peace, and just like peace out later.
Which, by the way, like you said, Obi-Wan the show adds a lot of context. So like the conversation with Luke and Obi-Wan, and he's like, your father was seduced by the dark side of the Force, and the good man he was destroyed. And then Luke's like, why did you tell me? He's like, no, he literally told me that. That's what he said.
Yes. Well, and also,
okay, whatever, dude. But also since Qui-Gon was like, I've always been here, you're just not ready to see me. Does that mean Obi-Wan was there watching Luke and Leia kiss like every time they did?
Oh my god, Obi-Wan's like,
just
no.
like,
no, oh god, no. Damn it, I can't stop this. Everything has to happen this way.
Qui-Gon's reaction. I wonder if Qui-Gon was looking at Obi-Wan like, so you're just gonna let this happen?
I think in Empire Strikes Back, when Obi-Wan appears to him on Hoth, he should have been like, go to Dagobah, and also stop having a crush on your sister.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's
give
just
it a
say, let's just say, Leia is off limits.
yeah.
We'll just say that. No, but Chaco, talking about Obi-Wan on like Luke turning himself in, right? Is that where we're going? Can we talk about that now, or is that in Act 3?
No, I'm calling Luke turning himself in the end of the second act. So this middle act includes
That
being
conversation.
includes going down to Endor.
Okay.
The codes checking out.
Yeah.
Wicket.
Yeah. Yeah. All of that is. Oh man, that is just like I said, pure comedy. The Ewoks are just pure comedy, and I absolutely adore it. And the fact that we know that not Governor Price, but what's his face from Rise of Skywalker, skinned a whole family of Ewoks and made it into a pelt that he wears.
Yeah.
Sinister shit. Sinister.
I didn't know that.
Not
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, it's
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's wild. But in Wedge showing up obviously for Kels, and being the Wedge Luke supporter, I'm all for it. But that conversation between Luke and Vader is very powerful, and it obviously harkens back to Obi-Wan again, because it's like that last moment. And this is the part that I really wanted to see when they were creating the show. I wanted to see that moment where Luke says, "There's good in you. I felt it. Just let go of your hate." And Vader says, "Obi-Wan once thought as you do." And I always thought in my mind, that line doesn't make sense with the movies that we had at this point. You know what I mean? But with that context, when Obi-Wan goes, "I'm sorry, Anakin. I'm sorry." And then you have that dialogue, and then instantly after he says, "You didn't kill Anakin, I did." And then it switches to Obi-Wan saying Darth at the end. That was the satisfaction that I got, and that's what makes this movie so much more impactful, because of that line. Because it was very open-ended. A lot of the original trilogy was open-ended, especially with the relationship between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. There were a lot of answers that came from that show, and it makes this movie, for me, even if it's like a small little thing, like me being in, like, I love Anakin and Obi-Wan so very much. So that relationship, seeing that come to fruition in that movie from that show, was so satisfying. And it also harkens back to
And
like him thinking about Padme, and he's saying the same things that Padme was saying to Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith. There's just a lot of intertwining things in that conversation that I absolutely just adore.
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's sad
Uh,
because like Vader at that point, because like the first two movies, like Vader, we see him as the big bad dude, like Vader's that guy. But now that the Emperor has entered the picture, like Vader's kind of been like cast aside, and we've seen it throughout. Like when he goes to the Emperor, and the Emperor's like, I thought I told you to wait on the ship, dummy. Like, why are you here right now talking to me? Like, and it's sad because Vader, he can't go to the light, but he knows that, like, I'm literally about to become another Dooku. Like, I'm just another pawn that I've been used, and now it's time for me. It's time for me to die. So it's rough, man. I mean, Vader is just like, he already knows that he's going to die, and that's always been so heartbreaking in that scene.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up, because that scene hit me different because of Obi-Wan. Also, he's like, Vader is told to wait on the ship, and he defies that and goes back, and he's like, excuse me, Mr. Emperor, I think my son's down there, but Palpatine says that same line. Are you sure your feelings on this are clear? And it's like, ah, damn it, I hate when he says that.
not that line again.
And I really saw, because that's the first time you see weakness in Vader, or I say weakness. Technically, it's strength. It's him kind of starting to want to come back. Also, St. Pat says Luke's dramatic entrance coming back to the Rebel Command, which is classic Skywalker.
I'm with you. Just walks in. Everybody's like, when the hell did you show up?
Okay, that scene, because everyone else had already said, I'm with you, it means that he was there in the back of the room. He heard the whole conversation. He knows what the mission is.
Yes.
And he was like, wait for the moment. Wait for the moment.
Wait for it. Now.
Yeah, he's like, and you have my axe. I mean, wait.
And you have my sword.
Oh my god.
I can just see it. Also, St. Pat says Pride with Ewok jacket and wugs, which are Uggs made of Wookiee.
Mother.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. So, but before we move on, I do have to talk a little bit about the Ewoks, because I think I think they don't get the correct. They're underrated, and if you played Ewok Hunt, you understand how terrifying Ewoks are. Bears that have opposable thumbs who build weapons. That is the most horrifying thing ever.
Running
all
around
the traps and things that you see them use, they use those to hunt huge predators on their planet. They were going to cook and eat like Luke and Han, right? That's what they were going to. They were going to cook and eat them. And you don't think they ate like those stormtroopers like that night? You don't think Ewoks ever made stew, and the other rebels are like, no.
No, I'm gonna pass on that one. I think that's not in the Geneva Convention. Eating your enemies. I don't think that. I think that's a strike against you.
Where did they get that dress that Leia was wearing? That was. I feel like that was someone else. That was someone else's wife or something. I don't know.
I think that we need an Ewok Jedi. They should put one of them in the High Republic. That's
I'm into it for sure.
Ewok Jedi.
That'd be pretty.
Or just make a character like Shaylee's from the D&D game.
Yeah, we have an awesome D&D game where Shaylo Ren was just a badass, very violent Ewok named Tiki, and it was awesome.
Tiki was wild.
Yeah.
Tiki was wild.
Also, we have a friend who's working on another session where we would all play stormtroopers trying to escape the indoor forest and to see what would happen.
I literally made the mistake of because me and my friend, we used to play Battlefront 2 like all the time, and one night we were like, "Yo, we should play Ewok Hunt." But wait, let's turn off the lights in our room.
Oh hell yeah! That's an experience. You
never
ever think about? Yeah.
I
Horror
was
movie.
so scared. I tell you, like, yes, and it was like right next to me when like. So I was like,
just think about that in universe though. Think about that in universe.
We need someone to make Ewok Hunt in VR.
I would
have a heart attack.
And like your flashlight's running out.
Somebody made a fan film of Ewok Hunt.
Yeah, Rexin Around was a part of it.
Oh really? I don't know.
Yeah, he was part. His bike shop did the speeders for it.
That's
and I
super
think he
cool.
I think he also did like costuming for the stormtroopers, as well. But no, I'm with you, dude. Just think about that in universe as a stormtrooper. Oh hell no! When you hear that, nope. I give up. Not today. I would rather you eat me than have to hear that. Nope. I'm done.
Yeah, for the Empire. What planet are we going? Are we going to Ewok? Yeah, you'll catch me. Yeah, no. I'm right.
I'm gonna dishonorably dish. I'm gonna be dishonorably discharged, and it's gonna be so worth it.
Yeah, y'all
I
got
mean,
Not
better
worth it.
dishonorably discharged there than out of an Ewok. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I had to. All right, final act. Final act of the film. Luke, has turned himself in, and we get their confirmation, and then we get all of the awesome Akbar lines. We get we get Naim Nub saying "Atahedi Muria Muria Amukia," huh? And it's a lot of good stuff. What jumps out at you in this on the last? Real quick, I'm just gonna say the third act of this, to me, is what makes Star Wars, because this third act, when you think about it, is really the first time in the franchise where they did the thing where there are three entirely separate storylines happening at the same time. And it's jumping back and building that tension, and then all three get stuck, and then like one goes and then the other goes. And I love that in the books and stuff, and I love that, we saw that in the Phantom Menace. And I know, I love that, and this is the first time it happened. I think the third act of this is peak Star Wars. But what jumps out at you guys?
It has to be the Vader and Luke fight for me. I mean, as a kid, it was awesome seeing Luke win. But like now that I'm a little bit older and I have a better understanding of it, just like, can we just talk about how Luke got the high ground twice in that fight?
It is canon, and I will die on this hill. I wanted to make it a trivia question, but they were like, it was from a meme. Don't give me that bullshit. He goes, Obi-Wan has taught you well. What do you think he's talking about when he ain't talking about how great he's looking. He's talking about the freaking high ground. Harith and Char, I'm calling you guys out right now.
I would have fully accepted it. Also, he makes his own high ground by kicking Vader down the damn stairs, and like Vader does like a backflip down the stairs, and you're, that was the first Spartan kick. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and like he does it with aggression, like he does it, like he uses a bit of his anger, but then the second time he does it, like he's straight into like Jedi mode, and the fact that Luke was able, because like they end up in a saber clench, if I remember. And Luke actually pushes Vader down. Like he pushes his blade down, and he's able to redirect it, and then he does the flip back onto the top level. I mean, you want to talk like Vader's strong. Like Vader's really, really strong.
It's got big old
just
robot
look at Kanan.
arms.
Just look at Kanan.
Yeah.
When Kanan fought Vader.
That was rough.
And then the music. When Vader, brings up Leia. Oh boy. Yeah, and John Williams' score in that scene was that's probably one of his best performances out of the original trilogy, is that score there. Because there's just so much emotion, and you can feel the just like the power of the other films into that one scene, because it's all built up to this one moment, this one last fight, and Vader and Luke beats him. Could had the opportunity to kill him, but he's able to stick to, he's, at the end of the day, he's a Jedi, and him tossing his lightsaber and him standing up to Palpatine, full circle. That's Luke's character, and that's who he is, and that was just so powerful to me.
Yeah, to me, that's what makes Star Wars. That's what changes it from what would be like a serial of that era, because it's always the hero like valiantly defeats the villain, and in this one he doesn't kill him. He doesn't throw him off a cliff, because that's what they did in all movies. You just throw the bad. They did at the balcony, but um that was just really different. That was really unique. That Luke's greatest moments of strength was him showing mercy and love. And I just think that's so beautiful. But I also got to point out my boy Ian McDiarmid, because he ate that scene up. You will pay the price for your lack of vision. His lines there were so cold and evil, and I still the
Remember
star
when
will
Luke
be
got roasted?
operational when your friends arrive.
I just love whoever wrote those lines. Who wrote who ended up doing rewrites and doing all the on that script? Was it Lawrence Kasdan? Did Lawrence Kasdan
yeah,
start
it
with
was.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay,
was
so
Lawrence Kasdan.
that's why it sounds good. Because that man knows how to write scenes like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knows how to write Leia and Han. He knows how to like write all these just amazing characters. I mean, the space battle, but this space battle is only second behind the beginning shot of Revenge of the Sith for me. Seeing all of these different ships and the way they shot that movie just is mind-blowing. How they used all the practical effects and how it looks just so real, and I mean, obviously reading Aftermath and how you hear about certain characters that are in that battle. You see Nor Wexley's Y-wing, we see Wedge, we see all of that. So it's like seeing that that extra material in the movie is so interesting now, because then you're like, oh, that's Nor Wexley's Y-wing. Oh, here's Wedge. Like, and it's just so gratifying.
Where's Sinjir Rathvelis? It's got to be running around here somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then obviously you get Iden Versio in Rogue's is it no, it's not Rogue Squadron. It's Inferno Squad. Yeah. Inferno Squad. You get all those
we weren't
attached
expecting special forces.
Just,
That's the point, Sergeant.
Yeah.
Real quick, Hoodberry says something awesome I heard. Vader ignites his lightsaber and stops Luke from killing Emperor, not just to protect his master, but to stop Luke from giving into his anger and giving him what he wants. And I've always loved that conversation of, in that moment, is that Vader protecting his master, or is that Anakin protecting his son? And a good friend of the channel, Victoria Vader, talks about how Vader seems to have different meanings when he says the power of the Force, or the power of the dark side. And on Endor, when he says, "You don't know the power of the dark side. I must obey my master." How that feels different. That's not saying the dark side is so powerful that I can win. It's like the dark side is like a terrible addiction. You don't understand how bad it is.
Yeah,
I'm chained to this, like, and it's, I don't know, it's just really, really interesting.
And all the Force ghosts are watching that happen. That's the other thing. Like, all of them are watching all that.
Which is true. Also, have you read Princess and the Scoundrel? Anyways, what were you saying, Luke?
Oh God, yeah. Oh God.
I teared up at that moment.
God dang it. Oh, that is so that moment in that book, God damn it. As being like a Vader / Anakin stan and seeing that moment, it ruined me. I was like, God damn it. You couldn't just do one right thing. One. God damn you. But
yeah, another thing for anyone who's thinking about reading Princess and the Scoundrel, it starts the day after the Shattered Empire, technically. Well, no, they even talk about the celebration at the end of the movie, And we know at this point Leia does not think about Anakin at all. Vader is not her father, right? Bail is. And the way she talks about, the man that held her shoulders while making her watch her home planet explode, like it hurts. Like, because we always think of like, oh, Anakin and he's their father.
Yeah.
Not delay at this point in time. It's really,
and we'll never get that until the Rise of Skywalker freaking certain point of view when Chaco and I are about 80 years old. We'll never get that finished story where she forgives her papa. Never.
Well, we'll cover that episode in 40 years when it happens. I can't wait. All right, so the last things that we didn't really talk about yet were the actual attack on Endor, blowing up the shield generator. Also, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Lando is the best pilot we've seen fly the Millennium Falcon. Flying it through the inside of the second Death Star, I think is the most impressive feat that, do you know how big the Death Star is? He flew through 50 miles of pipes and stuff,
Yeah.
while being
Yeah,
chased.
that definitely takes a lot of skill.
No.
Yeah.
And then out while being chased by an explosion. Yeah, he's the dude. But yeah, what else about the battle on the moon and then we have the end, the celebration, we have the Force Ghosts. How do you guys feel about those?
I know this happens a little before, but I guess we kind of forgot to talk about it. But Han letting Lando take the Millennium Falcon is such good character development. And I do really like that scene because it's almost like he's trying to reassure himself when he's talking to Lando about it. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. And then he has that moment where he pauses and he's like, don't scratch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take care of her. Feed her. Keep her clean.
Yeah.
Just go. This is my ship.
Yeah. Go. He says, "Oh, all right, you old pirate," or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God damn it. And it's so funny because I feel like Solo kind of builds on that as well. You see the beginning of their relationship, you see that in Empire, and then you see it kind of go full circle in Return of the Jedi. Just wish they all would have gotten a scene together in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, the reverse "I love you, I know" that's always classic.
My God, yeah.
Yeah. The comedy in that entire scene, though, and obviously, Hera and Rex possibly being on the moon during the ground assault, that's huge. I mean, there's so much that they're going to be able to do with that book. And
we also have one of the saddest moments when the one Ewok dies and his friend is
Jesus.
I used to sob during that scene when I was a kid, and it still makes me tear up a little. It's sad.
So sad. He's just like, "Come on, let's go, buddy," and he's like,
"Yeah."
Well, it's the Lion King. It's come on, Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Damn you, Chaco! Stop it.
Come on.
Crying.
I just made myself sad. But we also had the one swinging around the thing and he hits himself in the face. That was
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
What a great segue.
But yeah, then we have the end of the film, and we have Force Ghost Anakin, come back. When I originally saw it, it wasn't Hayden Christensen. And I'm happy with the change personally, because when I was little, I was like, "Who is that?"
Yeah,
I didn't recognize. Of course, it's the same, but yeah, I just didn't recognize him at all. Also, imagine being young. The prequels have not come out yet at all. But at the very end, it still shows the celebration on Coruscant, which you've never seen before, and on Naboo, which you've never seen before, and you're like, where what is that? Where are those places?
Yeah. Yep.
I just thought that was interesting.
No, yeah, victory celebration getting put in, which sorry, for those that love Yub Nub, but victory celebration is 10 times better.
I'm saying the baseline
the
slaps on
base
Yub Nub.
Victory celebration is so good.
victory celebration is just like the compilation of 6 movies of the I mean, if you think about it, it's the rise of the Sith, the downfall of the Jedi, the rebellion, and then we finally get a solid win for the good guys. Like a final, like, we finally did it after like 35 years. We finally done it. The guy is dead, and then he comes back. Anyway, I just really loved, and I always get, so we watched, I went to Philadelphia. We watched return this movie in with a live orchestra. So
Wait. Are you talking about the main?
yeah,
It was called the main, right?
I think so. Why? Yeah.
I was there.
Oh shit! No way.
Yeah, I was. I went with my mom, my dad, and my friend, and we saw it. You saw it this year, right?
Yeah, I saw it like
In Philly?
a couple of weeks ago, like 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Philly.
I was there. Yeah, I was there.
I didn't
Dang
realize
it.
you were in Philly. Okay.
No, I didn't realize that either. Awesome. But yeah, we were there in when Luke goes and sets the pyre. He finally like puts Vader to the flame. That music, just the Force theme, the way that sounds, and just like goes in. Oh my goodness, it gets me every single time because it's like finally he's being forgiven by somebody, and and then having to see Anakin again was just, oh my goodness, just the best, just the best. Oh my goodness. But yeah. Oh, yep. Yeah.
Although I did find it
right to left.
interesting. I noticed this time when I watched it that Luke puts his mask back on when he puts him on the funeral pyre.
Yep.
Which is interesting, an interesting choice to me at least.
That is interesting because it's like you would want him to be remembered as Anakin.
Yeah.
You'd want that off, but then again, it's like, I don't want to keep this thing. Just put it on him and we'll let it burn.
Yeah, I guess
That
that's
might have
true.
been the thought.
Maybe they didn't have the budget for the visual effects for burning someone's face either, you know?
Yeah.
I mean that's a good point. Yeah, there's also, and like no one was like, "Hey Luke, what are you doing?" And he's like dragging a body. He's like, "Don't let up, guys." Like,
I'll tell you later. Well, think about this also. Rex is there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it would be interesting, and I hope we see this in either certain point of view, a short story, or whatever. I need to have Luke and Rex talk about Anakin. For the love of God, those are the two people that he was closest with. Like, we've seen that conversation with Ahsoka, which was absolutely fantastic. I lost my marbles when I saw that. And then just seeing him talk to Rex, because Rex was very, very close with Anakin throughout the entire Clone Wars. They had this different bond. And I feel like they need to. They don't need to do anything, but it would be awesome to get a story like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Being a kid watching that ending, I remember I just remember taking it all in, and I was like, I was smiling. I don't know, I felt so happy. I felt so warm inside. I felt like so complete. And it was funny because like after I got done watching the movie, I'm just sitting there just looking at my TV screen. And my mom's calling me to eat and I'm not moving. And she's like, "What are you like, what's wrong with you?"
And you're like,
But
Mom, I'm just done. Like,
I'm
like
emotionally drained.
Just give me a second, Mom. Just give me a second, Mom. I need a minute to myself. But
um,
that scene is just perfect, and seeing it again, actually like in Philly, watching the orchestra, do it was just
Yeah.
like it just brought back all those years ago when I first watched it.
yeah. Obi-Wan says, is there anywhere in canon where a Force Ghost appears to a non-Force user? Um,
I don't believe there is
no,
one.
no,
No.
and I mean, Han literally runs through Obi-Wan's Force Ghost.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think he can communicate with him. But all right, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining me. In order to close up, I want to go around one more time, and I'm going to ask if you were able to choose from a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi story. If you could choose it to be about anything, what would you choose it to be about? And then also, once again, where we can find you and your awesome content, and any other closing thoughts. All right, and I'm going to start. Okay, go ahead.
My certain point of view, everybody already probably knows this, because if you know me, I've wanted this story forever. I want the explanation. I want Obi-Wan and Anakin to meet in that Force Ghost realm, and Anakin finally saying, just having that conversation with Obi-Wan, and then the explanation of how he was able to become a Force Ghost. I want that deep conversation between Anakin and Obi-Wan, because they are so... I know it's in Legends. I know it was in Legends. But like that's like one of the biggest things that I want to see from a certain point of view. And because obviously Obi-Wan, the show and how that much builds on everything. Everything just gets brought back to Obi-Wan, you know? And it just does. I'm sorry. But you can find
Obi-Wan.
Yes. Yeah, Yoda. Well, okay, so Yoda teaches Anakin, but all of them come together and they all forgive him. That would be an emotional moment. You can find me at the Pod Ones Podcast on TikTok, Pod Ones Pod on Instagram, and Pod Ones Podcast on Twitter. We are doing watch-alongs for Lord of the Rings every Thursday night into Friday morning, because it releases at midnight. So we will have we have a couple of guests on joining me and Grandmaster Bale. And then we have our House of the Dragon watch along as well at 7:25 Central Standard Time or 8:25 Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want to go join us over there, watch some House of Dragon, watch some Rings of Power, you are more than welcome. And Brandon, as always, thank you. Appreciate it. Without you
Awesome.
guys, there wouldn't be an us.
Thank you so much for coming on. Also, you saying that just reminds me of the very first video I ever saw from Mesa Windu, which was like Force ghosts appearing to each other. Like Anakin appears and like Obi-Wan's like, yeah, and Yoda's like, yeah, and he looks over and Mace Windu's just like,
Yes. Yes. Oh goodness.
How about you, Mackenzie?
So I think I would like it would be devastating, of course, because the moment in the movie is already devastating. But I think I would want a from a certain point of view about that Ewok and his friend that died.
Oh, you know for a fact that's happening.
Yeah, and I want it. I want it now. Because I just know I'm gonna cry reading it.
You're the person that absolutely their favorite book is Fallen Star because it gut punches you so much.
I do like some angst.
That's just not where I thought it was gonna go. That's crazy.
No.
I think it would be a good story.
Like, remember the one that gets like stepped on that was flying? I want to know if he had any friends.
Wait, did he
Um,
actually get stepped on?
Uh,
Pretty sure the one that was flying did get stepped on.
yes, yes.
I don't know. He was still moving. I mean,
I think
maybe he
one of them
stepped over.
did from it, but I'll have to check again.
I don't remember.
I'll message you.
But yeah, so you can find me on TikTok at Mac to Reality, and then on Twitter at Ardoc Ranch. I don't have a podcast or anything, but I post on Twitter a lot, mostly about Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Nice.
What I constantly
Nice.
post about. Anyway, yeah, so that's me. If you want to check out my socials.
All right, and last but not least, TC.
So, Luke, going back to what you were saying, I would really like to see a certain point of view of Rex, because I mean, Rex has been through so much. I mean, he's fought in he fought in the Clone Wars. He never got to see what happened to Anakin. He never saw Anakin ever again, and now that and then from him joining the rebellion, it'll be interesting to see, just like how he's like thinking of it all. Like, man, all of this has come down to this one last moment. But you know what? I'm ready. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna fight because that's all I know. That's all he knows, really, is how to fight. So it'll be pretty cool to see that. But you can follow me at TC Cosplays on TikTok. I post a lot of like cosplay content. I post Luke, especially. Luke's probably like my biggest character that I cosplay as. You can follow me on Twitter at TC Cosplays, and you can also follow me on Instagram at TC Cosplays.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys again for coming on here. If I were going to do my point of view story, I'm gonna have to go with Sinjir Rathvelis, and if you've read the Aftermath book, he's an Imperial agent. He was on Endor, and long story short, he does end up like defecting and stuff, but he becomes such a fascinating character. And you hear how hardcore he was in the Empire, and that might be like a really interesting story to spend time with. But there's also a ton of there's a ton of other characters that are present, that would just be really interesting. I know that Kel said they want Wedge's POV as he blows up the Death Star.
Yes.
I think that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I really need this from a certain point of view book to come out. Like, I'm gonna be sorely disappointed. I haven't heard any announcements from it. I'm gonna start.
Think it'll come out? You think it'll come out before Celebration?
Yeah. I know at Celebration, editor Tom was saying that it was just a lot of work to make the last one, so they were having a hard time putting this next one together. But that he was hoping it would get done at some point, but he just wasn't sure when it would get done in the future.
He's being coy.
I'm gonna start emailing publishers and being like, "You're making this happen, right?"
For sure.
And also, Dex and Download, his child just took their first steps. That is awesome. Congratulations.
Oh. Now you just need to give
beautiful.
him a lightsaber and he'll be a little Padawan.
He knew we were talking about Return of the Jedi, which is your favorite Star Wars film. So like there had to be like some energy, some Force energy that we were putting out in there. So
the Force is strong with this one.
Just be careful of Palpatine. Just saying. Don't leave them with your kids. That's all.
Don't leave Anakin with your kids either.
Yeah, that too.
But once again, thank you everyone in the chat. Hoodberries, Dex and Download. We have Kels, Diet in the Force, Element 7, Obi Sean, Harith. We have St. Pat. Did I already say Hoodberries?
Yep.
If not, Hoodberries. A Star Wars lawyer, Chris. We have just so many awesome people. This is a wonderful community. Legacy and Naboo in there as well. We appreciate you all. Appreciate all my guests. We had 2 of them coming on here for the first time, but certainly not the last time. You are absolutely invited back. So thank you. And Luke, you're always welcome. But with that being said, have a wonderful evening, y'all.